Hello everyone, myself Sagar Gunani from Elite Careers, and this video lecture is on concepts and techniques of integration. So first of all, we need to understand the term integration. To understand this term, consider one figure which is given over here. This figure represents a curve which follows a function y is equal to f of x. So here it is a x-axis and the vertical line is the y-axis. Now this curvature will follows the function of y as the dependent variable and x as the independent variable. Now this function could be any function like y is equal to x cube, y is equal to x raised to 4, or y is equal to e raised to x, or y is equal to sin x. It could be any function of y as a function of x. So if we take any function as y is equal to f of x, and if we want to find out the area which is bounded by this function with respect to that of the x-axis, then we need to use the concept of integration. Now let us understand this thing in detail. This bluish area which you can see in this figure, we need to find out the area of this bluish region. Now this bluish region is having a curvature at the top, and these are the two vertical lines and one horizontal line at the bottom. Now it is very difficult to find out the area of such complicated shape. If the areas are simple like rectangle, square or circle or triangle, then the area of these simple geometrical shapes we can easily solve with the help of formula. But to solve the area of such complicated shape, we used to divide this entire area into small rectangular strips, because we know the area of these small rectangular strips. Fine. So what we can do is, the very first step is to divide this bluish area into small rectangular strips. As you can see in this figure that there are several rectangular strips into which this bluish area is divided. Now in the second figure, the same bluish area is divided into more number of strips. Now and in the third figure, this number of strips has increased from the second. Then you can say that as we increase the number of strips, we can approach to the given area. Fine. So the conclusion is the approximation gets better and better as we use more and more rectangular strips. Now the area of this bluish region will be equal to what? It will be equivalent to the area of this n number of rectangular strips. So as far as we know that we have divided this curve y is equal to f of x into small rectangular strips. Now let us consider one rectangular strip which is over here. Now this rectangular strip is having length as delta x and height over here is equal to y. Now this y will vary according to the function as y is equal to f of x. So this distance y, which is the height of the rectangle, it will vary according to the given function. Okay. So in this case, the rectangular area is what? Rectangular area is equal to the height into this distance. So this distance is delta x, which is fixed for all the rectangle. Fine. So delta x is fixed for all the rectangle, and the height of the rectangle varies according to the function. And the height of the rectangle is equal to what? It is equal to f of x. So finally we got the area of one rectangle as f of x into dx. So f of x into dx is the area of any rectangular strip. Fine. So as far as we know that if f of x into delta x is the area of the rectangular strip, and this f of x will vary in all the rectangular strip, delta x will remain constant. And if we add the small rectangular areas, then we get the total area with the formula sigma. Sigma means what? Summation of areas of all the rectangular strips. So that is equal to sigma into fi of x into delta x. Fi means what? I is from 1 to n. So there are total n rectangular strips. So for I is equal to 1, f will be equal to f1. So this factor, that is fx, it will vary in all the rectangular strips. Now this can be simplified into limit delta x tends to 0 sigma f of x into delta x. Now if we take this strip as very small strip such a way that this delta x tends to 0, if this delta x tends to 0, then you can say that this distance will be very small. If this distance is very small, we can say that there are infinite number of strips in such a way that the delta x will tends to 0. Fine. So this can be represented as integration of f of x into dx. So we can say that the integration is used to find out the area under the given curve. So this is the most important thing to understand. Now let's move further. Now in this slide, I will compare the derivative with the integration. Let's say that y as a function of x, y is the dependent variable and x is the independent variable. Then according to this function, there is a curve in the xy plane which you can see in this figure. Now derivative will represent what? Derivative represents the slope of the curve at a given point. Now let's say there is one point on the curve. If I draw a tangent to this point, then the slope of this tangent is represented by the derivative of a function. What is integration? Integration represents the area under the curve between the given 2 points. Let's say that we need to find out area between the limits b and c. So if we want to find out this pinkish area, then we have to take the integration f of x into dx. Now the limit for the integration will be from b to c. So this kind of integration is called as definite integration. Now let us consider three figures which is given over here. First figure represent what? First figure represent a tap in which the water is flowing. And with the help of this tap, the tank is getting filled. So we have a cylindrical tank which is getting filled with the water which is coming from the tap. Now the flow rate of water from the tap is constant. It's constant with respect to time. Here x is nothing but the time and there is a flow rate. So flow rate is the function of the time. Flow rate is what? It is the function of the time. Now in this case, flow rate is constant with respect to that of time. It means what? The flow of water with respect to time is constant. So if flow of water with respect to time is constant, then we can say that in the graph of flow versus time, we can have a straight line. Now this straight line represent what? Flow is constant with respect to time. Second graph represent the volume of the water inside this tank with respect to time. Now as we can see that if the flow rate is constant from the tap, then slowly the water will rise inside this cylinder. Water is going to rise. So if water is going to rise inside the cylinder, then the volume of water is going to increase. Then if the flow rate is at the constant rate, then the volume will increase at the constant rate. Fine. So in this case, volume versus time will be equal to what? It will be equal to the slope of value 1. So slope of value 1 means what? It will be similar to y is equal to x line. So in this case, if flow rate is 1, then integration of 1 into dx, integration of 1 into dx is equal to what? It is equal to x. Understood? Fine. Now integration is what? It is the sum of the volume at each and every time interval. Now consider the flow rate in the second case. In this case, the flow rate is increasing with respect to time. So flow rate is equal to what? Flow rate is equal to 2 times x. It means what? The flow rate is going to increase with respect to that of the time. At time t is equal to 0, flow is 0. At time t is equal to 1 second, the flow rate is 2 meter cube per second. At time t is equal to 4 seconds, it will be equal to what? 4 into 2, that is 8 meter cube per second. So it will follow the curve which is given in this figure. Now this curvature is equal to what? Flow rate is equal to 2x. Now as the flow rate is varying, in this case the flow rate is varying with respect to that of the time, then the volume will increase as in the parabolic form. So the volume increment will be in the parabolic form as you can see in this figure. It means what? When 2x is integrated with respect to that of x, then the answer which you will get will be x square plus constant. In the next figure, suppose you have been given that volume is increased parabolically, then what is the flow rate? Reverse case is asked that volume is given that volume is increasing parabolically. Then volume is equal to what? It is equal to x square. Then we need to find out the flow rate. Flow rate means what? Rate of change of volume with respect to that of time. Rate of change of volume with respect to that of time means what? Differentiation of volume with respect to that of time. Here time is equal to x. Time is taken as the variable x. So if time is taken as variable x, then dv by dx is equal to what? It will be equal to 2x. So when the volume is equal to x square, then the flow rate is equal to what? dv by dx. Flow rate is dv by dx, and that is equal to differentiation of x square. So the differentiation of x square is 2x. So we can get the flow rate as 2x. Fine. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is when the flow is given, then we can convert it into the volume with the help of integration. And if volume is given, then we can convert it into the flow rate with the help of differentiation. So differentiation represent the rate of volume, rate of change of volume with respect to that of time. Now, if you want to express the volume with respect to that of the flow rate, then it can be written as the flow rate is equal to what? Flow rate is equal to rate of change of volume. Now, if we take dV is equal to what? dV is equal to flow into dx. So, if you want to find out the volume change, then we just have to take the integration on both the sides. So, integration will be equal to what? Area under the flow versus with respect to that of the time. So, if area under this flow versus time will represent what? It will represent the volume. Now, let's move further. Now there is a connection between the differentiation and integration. Integration is called as anti-differentiation. How? Let's look at over here. These are certain formulas related to differentiation. First formula is dx by x is equal to 1, and integration of 1 into dx is equal to x. So if we take dx by x is equal to 1, dx by x is equal to 1, differentiation of x with respect to x is equal to 1. Then if we take this dx on the right hand side, then you have dx is equal to 1 into dx, and if we take the integration on both the side, we will get integration of 1 into dx is equal to x. Also you need to remember that when integration of differentiation is of x is given, then it is equal to x. Understood? Because differentiation and integration, they both are, as integration and differentiation, they both are interchangeable, or they both are inverse of each other. So integration is called as anti-differentiation. If we take the integration of the differentiation, then we will get the same function, that is x. Now let us look at more formula over here. Differentiation of ax is equal to x, then integration of a into dx. This answer, integration of a into dx, will be equal to ax. Now differentiation of x raised to n is n times x raised to n minus 1. Then the integration of x raised to n will be equal to what? X raised to n plus 1 by n plus 1. Now if you take the differentiation of this value, then if you take the differentiation of the right hand side, then you will get x raised to n as the answer. Differentiation of cos x is minus sin x, then the integration of sin x will be minus cos x. If differentiation of sin x is cos x, then integration of cos x will be equal to sin x plus c. Differentiation of tan x is equal to sec square x, then integration of sec square x is equal to tan x. If differentiation of cot x is equal to minus cos x square x, then integration of cos x square x will be equal to minus cot x. So you can easily relate these two formulas for integration and differentiation. Similarly, the differentiation of sec x is equal to sec x into tan x, then integration of sec x into tan x is equal to sec x plus c. We have more formulas. Differentiation of cos x is equal to what? Minus cos x into cot x. Then we have integration of cos x into cot x is equal to minus cos x plus c. we further have few more relation. So you need to remember all these formulas so as to solve the problems related to differentiation and integration. What we can do is you can pause this video and take a snapshot of list of all the formulas which you need to remember. Now this is the entire list of basic integral formulas. Integration of du is equal to u plus c, integration of k into du is equal to k into u plus c, and there are a few other formulas which you can refer. So you can pause this video and have a snapshot, and whenever you get time, it is advisable to go through all the formula list so as to get a quick grip on this subject. Now let's move further. Example 1. Making a simplification, substitution, solve this integration. Now observe this integration. In the numerator it is 2x minus 9, and in the denominator it is what? Under root x square minus 9x plus 9. Now whenever you come across such kind of a problem, you have to check whether there is a relationship between the numerator and denominator. So this is a technique which I am teaching you for this example. The technique is whenever you come across numerator and denominator, then you have to check whether numerator and denominator are related with each other or not. Now if you observe x square minus 9x plus 1, then if you take the differentiation of this bottom function, then you can get differentiation of x square minus 9x plus 1 is what? 2x minus 9. It means if we take u as a one variable which is equal to x square minus 9x plus 1, then differentiation of u is equal to what? It will be equal to 2x minus 9. Fine. So what you can say is 2x minus 9 into dx. So what you can say is if we replace u with x square minus 9x plus 1, then this integration will convert into integration of 2x minus 1 into dx can be written as what? It can be written as du upon this bottom function. It can be written as what? Under root u. So finally you will get the answer as integration du upon under root u. Now what is this integration? This integration is what? Integration of u raised to minus 1 by 2 into du. Now as per the basic formula of integration, it will be equal to what? U raised to minus 2 plus 1 upon minus 2 plus minus 1 by 2 plus 1. So finally you will get answer as, this will get simplified, so you will get answer as u raised to 1 by 2 into 2. So you will get 2 into u raised to 1 by 2. Now you can replace the u. So replacing the u, you will get u is what? X square minus 9x plus 1. So you will get the answer as 2 times under root x square minus 9x plus 1. Got it? Now let's look at the solution which is given over here. So we have assumed u as x square minus 9x. So differentiation of x square minus 9x is what? 2x minus 9. Finally we have du upon u plus 1. Now du upon u plus 1, it can be written as what? U plus 1 into differentiation of u plus 1. So it will be equal to dv by root v. So you will get the integration of dv by root v as 2 into v raised to 1 by 2. And finally you will get the answer as 2 into x square minus 9x plus 1 raised to 1 by 2. Next example. Now we have a differentiation of 1 by under root 8x minus x square. Now in the numerator nothing is given, but in the denominator there is a square root. Now we need to make a perfect square in such kind of a problem. Whenever you come across a quadratic equation means what? Equation with maximum degree as 2. So in this case the maximum degree as 2, try to get the perfect square in such kind of a question. So if we try to get a perfect square, this can be written as what? Under root 16 minus x minus 4 the whole square. Now the easiest way is to assume x minus 4 as function u. So if we take the differentiation, then du will be equal to what? Differentiation of x minus 4 is equal to 1 into dx. Understood? Fine. So dx can be easily be written into du. Then 16 minus x minus 4 the whole square can be written as what? 4 square minus u square. So you can directly come to this step that dx will be replaced by du, and 16 minus x minus 4 whole square. Now x minus 4 is equal to u, which we have assumed. So x minus 4 can be written as u. X minus 4 whole square can be written as u square. So we have a form of integration of du upon under root 4 square minus u square. Now there is a formula which you need to remember, that integration of dx upon under root a square minus x square. So the answer for this is sine inverse x by a. Following the same formula, we will get the integration of du upon under root 1 minus u square upon under root 4 square minus u square as sine inverse u by 4 plus c. Now u can be replaced as x minus 4. Next question number 3. Expanding a power and using trigonometric identity. So I am solving different kinds of a problem so as to get a technique to solve such kind of integral problems. Given that integration of x sec x plus 10x the whole square into dx. Now in this case we will expand this square, so you will get sec square x plus 10 square x plus 2 sec x into 10x into dx. Now recall that 10 square x is equal to what? Sec square x minus 1. This is a trigonometric identity. So following this trigonometric identity, we can say that now the differentiation of 10x is equal to sec square x, and differentiation of sec x is equal to what? Sec x into 10x. So converting this trigonometric function into the given identity, that is 10 square can be written as sec square x minus 1, and 2 sec x into 10x, it can be written as what? It can be written just as it is. So we can just replace this equation and come to this equation. 10 square is replaced with sec square x minus 1. So you will get 2 times sec square x minus 1 plus 2 sec x into 10x. Now integration of sec square x minus 1 is what? Integration of sec square x minus 1 will be 10x, and integration of sec x into 10x will be equal to sec x, and integration of 1 will be equal to x. So finally you will get the relation 2 10x minus x plus 2 sec x plus c. So what we have done is, we have used the trigonometric identity 10 square x is equal to sec square x minus 1, and once we will get the form as integration of sec square x and integration of sec x into 10x. So this formula for integration of sec square x is directly known, that is 10x, and the formula for the integration of sec x into 10x is equal to what? It is equal to sec x. So using the formula, standard formula, we have reduced this integration and it is converted into 2 10x minus x plus 2 sec x. Next, find the integration of under root 1 plus cos 4x into dx. In such a case, we need to simplify this function. To simplify the function, the best way is to eliminate the square root. Now to eliminate the square root, we can use the formula of cos 4x. Cos 4x is equal to what? Cos of 2 times 2x. Now cos 2 theta is equal to what? 2 cos square theta minus 1. 2 cos square theta minus 1. So using this we can convert cos 2 times 2x as 2 times cos square 2x minus 1. Now substituting cos 4x as cos 2 times cos square 2x minus 1. So you will get under root 2 times cos square 2x into dx. Limit of this integration is from 0 to pi by 4. Now this root can be converted into modulus of cos 2x into root 2. So root 2 will come out of the integration, and finally we will get square root of 2 into integration of 0 to pi by 4 cos 2x into dx. Now what is the integration of cos 2x? Integration of cos 2x is equal to what? So the answer for this is integration of cos 2x is equal to sin 2x divided by 2. It is sin 2x divided by 2, and the limit is from 0 to pi by 4. So finally you will get the answer as, first of all we need to substitute pi by 4 as x, then we need to substitute x as 0. So you will get the answer as root 2 into sine of 2 into pi by 4, so it will be sine pi by 2. Now sine pi by 2 is 1, so you will get the answer as 1 by 2 minus sine 0 is 0, so it is 0. So finally you will get root 2 by 2, so the answer will be equal to 1 by root 2. Now let's move to the next problem, question 5, reducing to a improper fraction. We need to solve this integration 3x square minus 7x upon 3x plus 2 into dx. Now we need to reduce this fraction into improper fraction. To do this, let us write the numerator. In this case, numerator is having higher power as compared to that of the denominator. The highest power in numerator is 2 and in the denominator it is 1. So let us write down the numerator as 3x square minus 7x. And we have to divide this numerator with the denominator as 3x plus 2. Fine. Now to divide this, first of all we need to get 3x term over here. This is 3x plus 2. So if we multiply 3x plus 2 with x, if we multiply 3x plus 2 with x, then you will get 3x square plus 2x. Understood? Now if we subtract this equation, then you will get 3x square will get cancelled and you will get minus 9x. Now to remove this minus 9x, with 3x plus 2 we have to multiply minus 3. So if we multiply minus 3 with 3x plus 2, you will get 3x into minus 3 is minus 9x and 2 into minus 3 will be equal to what? Minus 6. Now we need to subtract these two equations. So minus 9x plus 9x will get cancelled. Minus into minus will be plus. So answer will be 6. So 6 is the remainder and 3x minus 1 is the divisor. So this fraction can be converted into what? It can be converted into x minus 3, which is the divisor of 3x square minus 7x, and this is the remainder over here, which is plus 6 upon 3x plus 2. So the given fraction is converted into two fractions. First is x minus 3 and second is 6 upon 3x plus 2. Now we need to solve this integration, and it is very easy to solve this integration. Integration of x minus 3 is what? X square by 2 minus 3x, and the integration of 2 by x plus 2 by 3 is what? 2 times log of x plus 2 by 3. So this is the end of part 1 of integration. Thanks for watching.